Okay, this is a little tip on the Small San Sau for your footwork. A lot of people put all their work and time into their hands, the body movement, but the feet is where we sink everything down. So, before you even get into your fighting applications in your Small San Sau, you should get comfortable with the footwork. So of course that involves just, as you will have learnt, whoever you've learnt it from, whether it be the DVD or a teacher, first thing you learn is that. Just swiveling back and forth, just letting your arms swale about and your feet just twisting like that. Keeping everything nice and totally relaxed. Your weight's always sinking into your rear leg, so if you wish, you can swivel and pick up that front foot, as I'm doing now. You don't actually do that in the form, of course, but just as a training drill, if I had my weight forward and I picked my foot up, I'd fall over. So it tells you that you're doing the form correctly if you swivel and pick that foot up. But only an inch off the ground. Don't lift it right up in the air, because that's going to put your balance in all other positions. So that's just an inch off the ground. And if you can do that, well then you know you're centered in that rear leg when you're moving. Okay, then we start stepping forward. So we're doing a swiveling for a while, you get comfortable with that. Make sure when you're doing your swiveling you're not doing this, bouncing up and down as you swivel. You must just swivel side to side. Okay, we're back, we've just got a delivery. So we'll get back into it. Okay, where were we? We were starting to take the steps, I think. Alright, so you get used to this first, get comfortable with the balance. Then what we start doing is the little drop step, just like that. Just a simple little step, nothing special. Just swivel, keep your weight in that standing leg, my right leg in this case. Again, we don't go up and down. When we step through the Small San Sau, we keep the weight, like in the Tai Chi form, we don't bob up and down, we keep the weight sunk. So, you're simply going to just allow your weight to urge forward, and that's basically what you're doing. I'm exaggerating that a little bit, but from there we just, you see? You just move your foot. But don't move your foot now, because my weight here is totally centered over that right foot. So if I move my foot now, see, I'm just going to drop straight down. So what happens is, if I exaggerate the principle, this is what I'm doing, but on a small level. I'm going to go like this. That's effectively what I'm doing in the Small San Sau to create that explosive nature. However, it's done at such a small level that it looks like you're just stepping forward. So from there, there's just literally there. Just that little intent, just that much. The weight just rolls into the outside edge of the ball of your foot to there. As soon as you feel that now if I pick my foot up, I get that forward intention coming into the step. The step is only there to create explosivity and forward intent. You're not trying to create a distance, or rather decrease the distance between you and your partner. Any of the applications you've done in the Small San Sau, if we take that first one where we step, for example, from the block into pun, if he's thrown that punch to there, that means he's already that close to you. There's no way you would have to take a step to get closer to him. Sure, he could be some freak guy with really long arms, but highly unlikely. So, in the Small San Sau, never take your step like that, like a big large step, because the whole idea is that you're here. You know that's where his head is. His head has to be there because he's punched you here. And we haven't stepped back. In that case, I would have to step forward again, but we haven't stepped back. So you can already reach your opponent from any one of the Small San Sau positions. The whole idea to the step is the explosivity and the forward intention and the grounding. So from here, we want, that's what we want when we do that first pun movement. And that principle will go into all your other postures through the form. So when we step, it's literally, I don't know, it's probably like your heel sort of ends up sort of just in front of where your toe was, kind of thing. It's that much, it's just that step. So you're not really moving that far forward, but it brings your intention forward, it brings your power forward to put power into the strike that you're doing. So, when we take that little step, there's your little rocking. You just, see? Your intention always goes before your feet go. So rather than thinking like in the slow form, for instance, we sink down, we take the step, we roll forward. You've got to do that as well, of course. That's the meditative side of things. That's also teaching you about balance, because if you start straight into something like this, you'll never learn really about balance, because you could be doing it all wrong like this and being all top heavy and off balance, and you might not know about it. So it's very important to be able to do steps like this to make sure that you're centered. Once you know you're centered, then there's nothing wrong with taking a step like that, because you know you'll be grounded and balanced. Not in the slow form, of course. The slow form should always be done with that empty weighted step. That's for other reasons, but we're not talking about that for now. But in the small San Sau, we do drop the weight into the foot. So you're there like that, little intent forward. See, your body goes first. The rule is with stepping, with reference to martial stuff, fighting, push hands, any sparring work, any martial forms, is that your feet follow your body. So rather than me thinking, okay, if I'm going to do a V-step, for instance, so there's a punch coming in here with me, and I'm going to do a V-step out this way. I don't go like this. See, that was my foot going first. Here comes the punch. I evade. My foot goes first, and then my body comes afterwards. If I do that, my foot's moving while the punch is coming in, and I've already been hit. So the first thing, see, the body actually is, this is the first thing to move from the center. The foot's picking up straight away, of course, but when we come into it, if you exaggerate the principle a little bit, it's kind of like, oh, your body's going over here, your feet have to follow. Body's going over here, your feet have to follow, kind of thing. So your feet basically just stay underneath your body. And if they stay underneath your body, then they'll always be in the right place. Dad always used to talk about not teaching footwork. And that's exactly what I'm talking about here. You shouldn't need to know, put your foot here and put this foot here and so on, because I know I need my body here or there, wherever it might need to be with reference to my opponent. So if I know my body needs to be here in order to throw that punch, then I know my feet have to be here. If I thought, take a step, and my mind was just thinking, move my foot, I might step too far and then I'd be too close to punch the guy. So any steps you take, you just move your body. Your feet will just, they're almost moving together. It's not like I'm moving my body and then your feet catching up. Don't exaggerate the principle that I'm trying to teach. However, that's how the movement works. Rather than that's feet leading, whereas that's body leading. You see? The body is moving and leading that intent of the step, but I'm still staying totally balanced. So, same with Small San Sau. Here, so see my body wants to go over here somewhere, a little bit forward. So my foot's going to follow my body, and so it stays underneath me. It's got to keep me up, like that. Now, exactly the same thing when it comes to pulling back. People always ask me, oh, when does the foot come back? Sometimes it's quite obvious, but the classical example, which people get wrong, is here. After arm, from here, people always get these ones confused, because the first one, the foot comes back as we block, then we bring it across, then we strike. But the second one, we sit back first on the block, then as we pull it across, we move the foot, and then we strike. So the footwork is different. However, all you've got to do is allow your feet, again, the same principle. If it's your front leg, then again, your body, your feet will just move underneath your body. With reference to that, it's the same thing really. It's your body does a certain movement and your foot will follow. There's more of a delayed reaction there, of course, because it's not your weighted leg, so it's quite obvious that it's being dragged behind your body. So when I do this movement and pull back, on the first time, from here, I'm turning to my left, you see? So I'm turning to my closed side. So if I sit back and turn to my left, my foot wants to come with me, because my hip is pulling back in that direction, and it will naturally drag the foot back. However, on the second side, which has still got the left foot forward, when I do the block from here, I turn to my right. So my foot can't possibly come back now. For me to bring my foot back now, that's an extra movement. I'm consciously thinking, pull my foot back. So that's not following the natural movement of my body. However, if I sit back there, now when I turn my body and pull this across, you see, if I just turn my center, now I can't turn over here and leave my foot there. I'm going to be off balance and I'll have to grip the floor. But if I just turn my body, my foot will sink back with me and then come back straight into the step. So practice that in your small San Sau. Forget all the arm movements and the applications. Just do the stepping so that when you're doing the arm movements, you don't have to think about the stepping anymore. So you do it in 2 stages. Just that first. Make sure you're nice and grounded, keeping your knees bent. Then start lifting your front foot each time you swivel. Make sure you're staying totally rooted in that standing leg, like that. Then keep your feet back on the ground. Then you're going to start stepping. Just keep it nice and loose. Just see. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing any strikes. I'm not doing anything explosively. Just doing the loose, grounding attitude of what is the small San Sau. Like that. So naturally, see all the movements coming from here. I twist my body. My foot comes with me. I turn my body and intention forward. My foot comes with me. Same there. Same there. Classic mistake, just in case anyone's doing that. Always remember, when you do sit back, again, this should only happen if you're thinking about your leg, but a lot of people will pull the leg too far back. You see, it's gone past my standing leg. So that's again because I'm thinking about the leg itself. So when I sit back, you see my heels are on the same line there. I haven't gone past where the weighted leg is. So any time in the small San Sau when you bring the foot back, it always comes back to that parallel line. Okay, so just keep that in mind, practice your footwork, and then put it back into your small San Sau so that you can just and so on through your small San Sau. And you see that'll just keep everything. If your feet, your lower half is grounded and sunk, then everything on the top half will come out and work as it should be. Okay, thank you.